My name is Dean Beebe. I'm a professor of pediatrics at the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine and at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center in the Division of Behavioral Medicine and Clinical Psychology. Now, what happens when you don't get enough sleep? Actually, it turns out a lot of things happen, some of which are pretty obvious and some of them are not so much. The obvious differences that you probably notice in yourself, or if not in yourself, in other people, the person feels sleepy, they look sleepy, they have a tendency to fall asleep easier. That's easy. They have trouble paying attention, and not trouble paying attention to short things, but trouble paying attention to long, boring things in particular. Now, what does that lead to? Well, that leads to actually some significant safety issues on the road, because driving, especially for experienced drivers, is pretty boring. And for inexperienced drivers, they actually need to have a lot of attention to all sorts of things that experienced drivers don't necessarily pay attention to. The position of their foot in the gas pedal, the position in the hands on the wheel, and if their attention is drawn away from that, they may not be very good drivers either. So being inattentive is actually a significant safety issue. There's an estimate in the United States of about 6,000 traffic-related deaths due to sleep deprivation. 6,000 people, completely preventable deaths if we were to get more sleep. Beyond that, it affects mood. What we often see is a decrease in positive mood and an increase in negative mood. We definitely see an increase in mood volatility. People tend to be grouchier when they aren't getting enough sleep. All of that can seem like there's not a whole big deal to it, but keep in mind, especially when we're talking about groups that are getting significantly less sleep than they're supposed to, that this can affect your interpersonal relationships. It can affect how a kid is doing at school, and how a kid's doing at school can affect them for their entire lives. Those are actually the more obvious implications of not getting enough sleep. What a lot of folks don't realize is that this also has multiple effects on the body. You're more prone to infection when you don't get enough sleep, so you get sick more often. You don't recover as well when you don't get enough sleep. You are much more prone to eat badly and sit around and do very little. And that very likely is what's leading to the increase in obesity that we see with folks who don't get enough sleep. And it's not just obesity now and sleep now. If you don't get enough sleep now, your odds of having obesity and obesity-related complications such as diabetes go up for the future. So your sleep now is an insurance plan for the future. Also, we see an increase in heart disease for folks who are not getting enough sleep as well. This is something that is very clearly evident in adults, but we also see the roots of it in kids as well, which is why certain initiatives around sleep with children are so important, because they can have long-term consequences on our most vulnerable populations.